I can hear you. I can
All
hear you.
right. Okay. Good to know that you can hear me. It's afternoon from this part of the world, Lagos, Nigeria. And I want to believe we have people joining us from other parts of the world. So wherever you are joining us from, you could be in the morning, or you could be in the evening, or even at night. So I want to say good day to you all and welcome to this session um, uh, tagged uh, Project Management Training, Fundamentals of Project Management Training. I want to believe this afternoon that we are all here to actually learn and improve our knowledge as it relates to project management subject matter. You could be in the industry already, or maybe you have a plan to actually build a career path along the project management line. So you are in the right place, and I'm going to assure you that you will get full value for your time and data spent on this training this afternoon. Once again, my name is Pius Ivaroga. I represent Dexnova Consulting Limited. Dexnova Consulting is an HRO consulting firm which specializes in human capacity development. And we also provide some other HRO services like recruitment and outsourcing. But for the purpose of this program, we would like to stay on the capacity building. So we do this from time to time. If you have been following us on social media, or you have been taking interest in some of our activities, you will know that from time to time, we do this. Just a couple of days ago, about on Wednesday to be precise, we also have a similar program in the areas of maintenance and reliability. So this afternoon, we are also going to ensure that we are able to add value to you. All right. Um, aside, apart from attending this program, you are also going to be getting some what I call goodies, Friday goodies. If you stay true to till the end of this training, we have some good news to share with you. So this afternoon, we know it's a Friday. Some of you might want to quickly wrap up and go do some other things and start having early Friday, early weekend activities. So we are going to try as much as possible to harness the opportunity, the time that is available to us. Maybe in the next 2 hours or 2 hours plus, we should be able to conclude what we have for you this afternoon. All right. So to do justice to this subject matter this afternoon, it's somebody you would love to love when it comes to project management. He is an authority. He is well experienced, qualified, certified, as it relates to project management, Scrum Masters, Agile, business analysis, and other areas. So once he comes on board, he will be able to shed light on his qualification and how he can help you in ensuring that you are able to climb up the project management career path. He is no other person than Mr. Ekemini Jacobs. Before I hand the baton over to him, I want us to have a bit of a housekeeping. Let's ensure that we are actively involved in the class. If we need to pop up the charts in the charts room, we do that professionally. We ensure that we don't leave our minds unmuted when we are not speaking, so we don't interrupt the class. All right. So on this note, I want to yield the mic to Mr. Ekemini Jacobs. Mr. Kemini, confirm you can hear me, please.
Yes, I can hear you very well.
All
Thank
right.
you,
Thank you
Mr.
very much.
Pius.
Over to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Pius. Thank you to every one of us here. It's great to be here. I think I can see some familiar names. Yeah, some people I've met before, some in real life and some on LinkedIn and other places. It's a pleasure to be here, and hopefully we'll have an engaging session in the next 2 hours or 2 hours plus. All right, please just, one of the things I would want you to do to also help us is to ensure timely response. You know, Nigerian network can be a little bit funny. So please do well to respond just to ensure that you're all connected together, and that quick feedback would always help us a lot. At some point, I may put off my video. So here's my face. For those who haven't met before. Yeah, so let's go straight to the business of today. Okay, please just confirm you can see my screen, so I'll be sure that everything is working fine.
Your screen is visible.
All right, okay, thank you very much. All right, so we are here to go through the fundamentals of project management. I know some people, there are some people who are already professionals in the field of project management. Some people are already even certified. So I think this will be a kind of a refresher course or a refresher training. Most of the times when we go advanced, we tend to forget the basics and the foundation. So this is also good for people who are already established in the profession, and then to people who are just joining, or to some people who aspire or who wants to make a launch into project management career path. This is also a good start for you, and hopefully you will gain good value for your time. All right, so but before we start, I would love to meet as many of us as possible. So if this was a physical training, certainly we will be interacting with each other. So I want us to still do that. So in the next few minutes, let's say 3 minutes, let's use the chat box. Please, everybody, let's cooperate. Let's use the chat box. Just tell us a little about yourself. So you can just tell us your name, possibly your academic background, if you want to share that, your location, very important, your professional aspiration. So let's say you want to make a launch into project management, or you just into project management. You want to know project management for just to enhance your primary career path. You don't really want to launch into the career path as your primary career path. So just let us know. And then please, I will also appreciate if we can connect with each other on LinkedIn. So if you're okay with that, you can also share your LinkedIn profile, your link to your LinkedIn profile, so we can also connect with you. I will do so. For me, I will also share mine, so we can connect even after this training. So please, I will look through it, and then as many that will drop, I will do well to acknowledge our presence. Okay, I have Charles. Charles, so just an hour ahead. Okay, of Lagos time. Okay, Charles is in Cape Town. Okay, 1 hour ahead of us. Okay. All right, so let's get to meet each and every one of us. So I'm waiting. I'm in the chat box, I'm in the chat room. I've not seen anyone yet. Who will be our first guest? Or who will be the first person to introduce? So please just let us know your name, where you are joining us from, probably what you do. There's no problem with sharing what you do, in case you might need such service or your product. So just in as short as possible, just let us know your name, your location, where you're joining us from. Very important. And the LinkedIn profile, if you want to share that, so we can connect. Okay, Ndifreka Isaiah, welcome. Nice to meet you. You're joining from Port Harcourt, mechanical engineer. You're welcome. Nice to meet you, Ndifreka. Okay, who else? That shouldn't take That shouldn't take so much time. Okay, Nemeka Martins, graduate of agricultural economics, currently a private tutor in Ikorodu. Okay, you're joining us from Ikorodu, Lagos. Okay, nice to meet you. Vocational engagement in NGO made me realize I need to get a formal training on project management. All right, that's a great one, Nemeka. You're welcome. Hopefully, you're going to get a good foundation from this, and then that could inform your decision if you want to go deeper into it. But I can assure you that you have a very good foundation into the fundamentals of project management. Oh, Edward Jotan, joining from Ibadan, mechatronics and system engineer. Nice to meet you, Edward. You're welcome. Yetunde Oludare, joining from Lagos, senior internal audit and risk management professional. Okay. Yetunde has shared his our LinkedIn profile. So please, let's do well to use the link, connect with him. I will also connect with you as well. Okay. Marlene is a human resource management and business administrator or business administration in South Africa. So I am from DR Congo. Okay, I'm currently in South Africa. All right. Nice to meet you, Marlene. You're very much welcome. Thanks for joining our webinar. My name is Victor. Welcome, Victor, joining from Lagos. Victor is an architect. Say that I'm sorry if I failed to pronounce your name correct. So please pardon me. Saida, manager projects at a bank, UBL. Okay, nice joining us from Pakistan. Okay, you're very much welcome. Hi, Adola. Nice to meet you. Welcome from Uyo Akwa Ibom, a software developer and a community manager. All right, welcome. Nice to meet you, Tayo. Tayo Oladapu. Welcome, joining from Lagos, Nigeria. I'm a quality management professional. All right, nice to meet you. We've also seen your LinkedIn profile. We do well to connect. Jerome is a security systems specialist. You're welcome. You didn't tell us where you're joining from, but I think I have met Jerome before and one of the project management trainings. Good to meet you again. Very much welcome. Okay, Sewun is joining from Lagos, business development manager, studied banking and finance. Yeah, nice to meet you, Sewun. Okay. Okay, Jerome is joining from Lagos. Okay, Olorunda Paul is also here. BSc Industrial Relations, Personnel Management from Lagos. So Paul is joining us from Lagos. Prosper is joining from Lagos as well. Looks like almost everyone is joining from Lagos except for a few of us. Okay, Samuel. I think Samuel is also joining from Lagos. BSc in Physics with Electronics. Okay, from Port Harcourt. Okay. You're welcome. Nice to meet you. All right. Thank you very much to each and every one of us. It's a pleasure meeting all of us. We have 33 people and still counting. All right. Okay. So let's go to the business of today. But before we proceed, also would love to introduce myself. I am Kevin Jacobs. I have experience in project management across technology industry, manufacturing, and also the development sector as well. I've also worked in operations, supply chain in particular, and I am PMI PMP certified. I also certified by Scrum.org as a professional Scrum Master too. Also have a Lean Six Sigma Green Belt. I currently consult for individuals and firms, and also into PMP, CAPM, and PSM training facilitations. Okay, so I am joining from Akwa Ibom as well. I think I've seen Adeola. So you are not, I'm not here alone. So two people from Akwa Ibom, that's amazing. Okay, Lani Kwekon is also joining us from Ogun. All right, you're welcome. BSc in architecture and also MBA architect as well. Onyechi is joining from Lagos. Okay, working as an HR management and business administrator. All right, first time joining. Nice to meet you, Onye. All right, so let's proceed. Of course, our objective for this training would be the fact that at the end of the training, we should be able to understand what a project is and what project management is. Then understand the 5 stages and life cycle in project management. We should also be able to understand the different knowledge areas in project management, understand the 2 main approaches, or we say methodologies of project management. That's the waterfall approach to project management and the agile approach to project management. And we also understand when to use which methodology. Okay, and we also understand the fundamentals of sorry, that's a typo there. Fundamentals of initiating, planning, executing, monitoring, and controlling, and then closing a project using both waterfall and agile approaches to project management. And lastly, understand the different industry certifications available in project management, which you can obtain. You can decide to go further for those who wants to practice project management as a profession. There might be that need for you to go further in your training and even get certified. So we're also going to introduce you to most of the globally industry recognized certifications in project management. Okay, so let's go into the business of today. So in today's world, there are so many problems out there. If you look at anywhere we find ourselves, whether in construction companies, in government, in the non-profit sector, just think of any industry that you come from. We've had people from the non-profits, we have people from manufacturing, we have people from technology, agriculture, health. Anyway, we are faced with problems on daily basis. And we also have many opportunities outside there for us to take advantage of and to implement, for us to be able to solve this problem. Solutions will be identified, okay? So when we identify these problems or these solutions, there will be needs to implement those solutions to solve those problems or implement some strategies to take advantage of the opportunities, okay? So these complex works are coordinated, defined, and simplified through project management. So we're trying to, let me use the word demystify project management, because sometimes when we say project management, I remember when I didn't have a formal training in project management, so I used to think of big skyscrapers. The only thing that would come into my mind would be skyscrapers, big bridges, road construction, and all that construction of big malls. Those were the only thing I thought were projects, and then would require some systematic approach to it, will require a professional approach to project management. But in today's world, after launching into project management for years, I've come to realize that it's not just about those physical infrastructure. Even if we want to change a strategy or we want to change the approach to which we manufacture goods in our organization or in our manufacturing company, the process of implementing that change and introducing that new approach we want to implement is a project. So we are going to see through different examples of projects and then how to implement projects in our respective industries. Okay, so if you look at the screen, you will see two things. Let me use that on the screen. To my left, you see problems and opportunities, and to my right is the solution. So we have the problem, and then we have identified the possible solutions after considering different factors. getting information from customers, doing market research. After a lot of work have been done, this is what business analysis does. Okay, we have identified a solution, or we have identified solutions to solve this problem or to take advantage of the opportunity that we have identified in the market. You now see that if you can observe on the screen, you realize that between these problems and opportunities and the solution we need to implement to solve this problem or take advantage of this opportunity, there's a huge gap here. It's a huge gap here. So how do we bridge this gap so as to bring the solution to meet the problem? This is it. So for us to be able to bring this solution, the solution we have here, to be able to solve this problem, there will be a lot of work to be done. That's what we refer to as complex work. Okay? So you see how complex this is, because it is not straight, it is not organized, there are a lot of work. So just take example of maybe when Dangote refinery was constructed. Let's say the Dangote refinery, for example, when it was constructed. Just make a mental view of it. There was a lot of activities carried out. There are a lot of works carried out. Or let's say you are in the technology industry and then an app wants to be developed. Okay, or you want to develop a software to be able to solve a particular problem. There will be a lot of works to be done. A lot of codes will be written by different people. A lot of embedded systems may be needed. And a lot of procurement, hirings, and a lot of things may be needed. Those things, all those things carried out to be able to implement this solution here to solve this problem is what we refer to as complex work. Okay? Now, those complex work, that complex work we have here is what we call project. Now, see, there are a lot of work to be done. So for us to implement a solution to solve a problem, a project will have to be implemented. Okay? And then this project, it refers to a complex work. Complex in the sense that there are so many things that has to be done. At this stage, we don't know which one we are going to do first. We don't know which one we are going to do second. And then we don't know which one we are going to do third until we are able to carry out all the works needed to complete that project. So that's why we call it complex, because it's not easy, just as you're seeing this table here. It is complex because for us to be able to define this table and make it straight so that we'll be able to make use of it, something needs to be done. And that thing that needs to be done to be able to take this complex work and organize it in such a way that we can see the flow of all the activities from the beginning to the end is what we call project management. So project management comes to be able to define a path toward implementing a solution to solve a problem. That is why project management has become one of the most sought after profession now in the industry, in any industry we find ourselves, because we have now come to see the need to implement a solution, having a defined path to be able to implement a solution so as to solve a problem. So the process or all the activities, the processes, the activities, the tools, the techniques, and all of that needed to be able to take this complex work, just like you've seen this wire that was very complex, twisted, confused, put together. You've seen a team is trying to take that complex work, this twisted wire, this unorganized cable, then putting it in an unorganized way, in a way that is well defined, in such a way that we will be able to know the length we want to cut, we'll be able to know how long this wire will be able to go, because as crisp as it is now, you cannot determine the length of that cable. You cannot determine how long it will take. You cannot do a lot of things with it. Now, for us to be able to make use of this cable, we have to take it, align it, put it in a way that is very easy for people to see the length of it, how we can make use of it, and everything we will do with it. The same thing applicable to project management. So project management is there to be able to take all the work that we have to do, organize it, define it, make it very clear and plain for the team to understand, and then we know which one we do first, which one we are going to do next. How long will it take us to do this activity? How much will it cost us? To such a way, when we see the whole project, when we see the whole activities we are going to do, we are able to. Yeah, Mr. Isaiah, the training is recorded. So at the end of this training, you'll be able to have access to the recording and also to the slides. So no problem about that. All right. So as I was saying, that project management comes to align, to be able to define all those complex work for us to have it clearly implemented. Someone could ask, how could a large project like maybe the Dangote refinery, or just think of a very large project in the whole world, was carried out with thousands of people working on it, with so many activities, billions of money spent, how were they tracked? That is what project management comes in. Project management comes in to carry all those amounts of work spread into 2, 3, 4, 5 years, put them together and align them, make it straight, make it in such a way we can see the flow of the work from the year 2024 to the year 2029 or 2030. The flow of work such a way, even when we are not in 2025, somebody can know what we are going to do in 2025, the level of the work that will get done in 2025, how much of the budget we are going to use as at 2025, what will be the level completion. All that is what project management comes to solve. So just think of any solution. That is the uniqueness of project management. It comes to make the complex work we need to carry out to be able to implement a solution or take advantage of an opportunity in the market. It comes to make it simplified, defined with a clear path toward completion. Okay, having said that, question now is, what is a project in clear terms, right? So please, if you have any question, if you have a question, please do well to drop in the chat box. You can also, I think someone's mic is on. Please do well to mute yourself, please. Donald, your mic. All right, okay. So please, when you're not speaking, please do well to mute yourself so we don't get distracted with the background sound that will be coming in. So please do well to ask me a question at any time. Use the chat box, or you can just use the indicator, raise your hand, and then I will allow you to speak. All right, so we've seen the flow of how project management comes to be able to help any organization, the government, any institution, or even individual to implement a solution to solve their problem or take advantage of the opportunity. So as I said, just a recap, this is a problem, this is the solution that we have identified. For us to be able to implement this solution, some complex works will have to be done. These complex works, if you just wake up and then start doing the work anyhow without knowing how much it will take, without knowing every information about it, we might end up not implementing the solution the way we had wanted. We might end up not getting the objectives that was set before. Okay, so for us to be able to implement the complex work, carry out all the work that we have to do in such a way that it will meet the set objective, project management needs to come in. So project management comes in to be able to take the complex work, define it, and let us have a clear path from the initiation to the completion of the project. Okay. Yeah, the material will be shared. Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. So what is a project in all this? In simple terms, a project is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service, or result. Okay. So from that definition, we realize that the project is different from operation. Operations, on the other hand, are the things we carry out continuously in our industry, in our company. For example, if you have a company that manufactures slippers or sandals or shoes, every activity done toward manufacturing the shoes or the sandals, sending it out to final consumers, that is buying of raw materials, recruitment of personnel, carrying out the actual manufacturing, putting them into the warehouse, loading them on the trucks, and then shipping them to suppliers or to consumers. All those are operations. Yes, because they are continuous. We don't have a defined date we are going to bring this to an end. Okay, so those are operations. This is different from what we call a project. A project is a temporary endeavor. The word temporary endeavor then means that it has a start date and it has an end date. So we don't just start doing something and say, okay, whenever we will bring it to an end, we will, but we don't know. Okay, so a project will certainly have a start date and a day that it is going to end. And when it ends, it should be able to result in a unique product, or it could be a unique service or any form of unique result. When we say unique, it means something that was not there in existence before. So it's bringing something new into existence. It could be something that was in existence, but we are upgrading it into another version or into another state. Could be something that was not there at all. So it could be a physical product. It could be an intangible product like a service. Or so, for example, we want to upgrade our production process and then introduce a more mechanized one or a more tech-oriented one. So, for example, if we used to carry out we used to carry out our manufacturing manually, and then we want to reintroduce robotics or robots into it so as to carry out some part of our manufacturing using machines like robots. That is a project because it has been able to shift from a manual way of doing the work to the work being done by machine. And then those machines that will be installed at the end and then we move into operation, that is a unique result we have gotten. So when we shout projects, that is what we mean, a temporary endeavor. So from this understanding, you realize that projects are not just only construction of skyscrapers, only construction of big bridges. So projects can exist in different forms, which we are going to see some examples. Okay, in another word, in other words, a project can also be said to be a planned and organized endeavor undertaken to address a specific problem or take advantage of a particular opportunity. So maybe there's a problem or there's a demand for a particular goods or service in the market. That is a problem. In other way around to your company, that is an opportunity. You realize that if we start launching this product or if we develop this product and launch into the market, we are going to take advantage of that opportunity and then make money. Okay, I can't hear you one bit. Please, can you all hear me? Someone is complaining about my audio. Is there anything wrong? Please do give me a feedback if you can hear me. A quick one, please. Okay, Donald, I think something may be wrong with your system audio. So do well to fix that because almost everyone can hear me. Okay, thank you. That was from Donald, please do well to fix that. Okay. All right, so that's the definition of a project or what project means. So whether we are talking about a company trying to develop a new software or a new version of an existing software. So remember I said that a project can be to invent something that never existed before. So it can also be to upgrade what was already in existence into a new version or to a new state. So whether we are talking about a company developing a new software or trying to upgrade an existing software into a new one, that is a project. Or we are talking about a company trying to take over or acquire or merge with another company, that is still an example of a project. Or for those in the education sector, we are talking about a school trying to change its curriculum, okay, or introduce a new course into their course catalog. That is a project. Or we're talking about World Health Organization, for example, when we had the pandemic, WHO went into work doing everything for as much as possible to develop the COVID-19 vaccine. That was a project, that's an example of a project. So in the tech industry, you know, SpaceX may be trying to build the first hotel in Mars. I know Elon Musk has been talking about human existence in Mars. Let's say that after the whole research, we have identified that there could be human existence or this life in Mars, and then maybe SpaceX may decide to build the first hotel in Mars, or planning to land humans on the sun. That is example of a project. I've already I've already said example using the Dangote refinery. I think that's the biggest refinery in Africa. Yes, if I'm not mistaken, that is a project. When that throughout the years, that company was the refinery was constructed. Or we're talking about the Nigerian government saying that they want to lift maybe 30 million Nigerians out of the poverty line by the year 2030. That is example of a project. And this one is a little bit funny, but just to show us that there can be projects across any industry, like any industry, whether we are talking about religion, whether we are talking about technology, politics, government, non-profit, manufacturing. So this is an example of a project in, let's say, in traditional worship. Those of us who are from Africa. So if you are talking about a Dibia or a native doctor trying to upgrade his shrine to maybe an electronic shrine so that people can consult with the gods electronically through Zoom, through Google Meet, that is also a project. So in whatever form you could think of, or let's say in the entertainment industry, New Line Cinema is trying to produce the next series of Lord of the Rings, or our own Davido wants to host another concert at the O2 Arena. That are all projects. So you now see that I have set example from music industry, I've set example from the movie industry, entertainment. I have talked about traditional worshiping. that's always funny, but that is the Divya upgrading indeed. Yes, of course. They could decide to do that. And once that is decided, that is a project. So in whatever industry, this is in governments, the government saying that we want to lift out 30 million people from that are below poverty line to above poverty line. That is a project because it will be well thought out, implemented, budgeted, planned, and then implemented. And by the year 2030, we should be able to see that that has been completed, and then we measure the result based on the objectives we set. This Dangote refinery, this is even a clear example of projects to so many of us who didn't really have the understanding of what a project is. Okay, so in whatever industry you could think of, whether entertainment, whether agriculture, whether health, whether we're talking about government or non-profit or non-governmental, just think of any industry you could think of. That is a project. Let's say a bank, two bank wants to, maybe a bank, First Bank in Nigeria wants to acquire Barclays Bank in South Africa. That is a project. Yeah, sometimes people may get confused. Oh, how is that a project? It is a project because there is an end result the bank wants to achieve. That is expanding by taking over another. And at the end of taking over that bank and then turning all the branches of that or the other bank, for example, Barclays Bank, to become First Bank, that is a unique result that has been brought into existence in that bank. So when we say project management, it goes beyond construction, it goes beyond being construction site or building roads, bridges. Even if we say in our office that, oh, all the cabinets in our administrative office are all worn out, so we want to change all the cabinets, change all the chairs, and then we paint our entire administrative building. That is a project. It might take 3 days, it might take 1 week, it might take 1 month, 2 months, 1 year. So it doesn't necessarily mean that only projects or things that takes up to 2 years, 3 years are what we call projects. It can be 2 days. So those are all projects. And your ability to plan and implement those tasks so as to be able to meet the set objective is what we call project management. So irrespective of any industry you find out yourself, just like I have said about 10 to 12 examples across different industries, entertainment, government, politics, non-governmental, technology, and all that. Irrespective of any industry, there are projects across every industry. So the question of, oh, I studied accounting, can I be a project manager? Or I'm an engineer, can I be a project manager? Or I am a doctor, I'm a pharmacist, can I be a project manager? That question is already gone because there are projects across every industry, and you even have an added advantage if you are a specialist in a particular industry and also trained and equipped with the ability to manage projects, so that you don't have situations whereby somebody who is not interested in that particular industry will come in to manage a project in that particular industry. There might be some issues with the result. So if you're already vested, you have the technical know-how in a particular industry, say technology, say medicine, say health, say any industry, and then you are to manage a project in that industry, there is that higher chance that the project will be successful. So there are projects across every industry. And if there are projects across every industry, that means that there is need for professional project management to be able to implement projects in those industries. And if professional project management is needed in every industry, that means you joining this training today, you are very much needed in your industry as a project manager. So what is project management? I had already shown us what project management does. It has that ability. Project management comes in to be able to take the complex work that we have to do to be able to implement a solution to a problem. It comes to take that work and make it well defined. But to put it straight, project management is the application of specific knowledge. So we are going to come to know what these knowledges are, specific skills, tools, and techniques to be able to initiate. So you first of all initiate a project. To be able to initiate a project, plan the project, execute the project, and while you're executing, you are continuously monitoring and controlling the project, and then closing the project. Not just closing it to be able to deliver the value and the result that was pre-planned for that project. So that is what project management is. So it is the application of different knowledges which we are going to see throughout this training, different skills, different tools and techniques. So that is why we have to learn project management. It is not because you are technically vested in a particular industry and then one thinks that he or she can manage the project. No, there's some knowledge you have to be vested in. There's some skill sets you need to have. There's some tools and techniques you need to apply for you to be able to manage a project and deliver the result that was set for that particular project. In other words, project management is also the process and activities of coordinating complex work to achieve the set objective and produce the unique result. So that one person that is there to coordinate all those work. Imagine the construction of the refinery I talked about. There are some people who were working on pipeline welding. There are some people who were working on the structure. A lot of work, thousands of activities were going on each day. Imagine leaving such a place without a control, without a system to be able to determine what we do today, what we do this year, what we do the next year, how much we are going to spend, control every aspect, control risk, handle the cost and budget, and handle every aspect, even the human resource aspect of the project, perform procurement. If there's no central units like that to be able to coordinate all those complex activities, we will have that project being a failed one. So that is what project management does. It is that ability, that process those activities, those application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to be able to coordinate all the different complex works involved in implementing that project, so as to ensure that everything is done towards achieving the set objective, and at the end we produce what the result of that project was to be. That is what we call project management. So somebody who manages projects, you can all agree that, is the project manager, right? So who is the project manager? So is that person with the knowledge? Remember, I said project management is the application of knowledge. So the person with that knowledge, those skills, those abilities to apply, coordinate, and manage the interrelationship of all the tools, the techniques, the processes, the resources, everything that needs to be done in the project, so as to be able to start the project from the beginning to the end, and then end up delivering what the result was to be. That person is the person we call for the project manager. Is that person that coordinates all, imagine all the work that has to be done. The person coordinating the finance, coordinating the risk activities in the project, coordinating procurement activities in the project, to make sure that every angle, every subunit of that project interrelate with each other to ensure that we get the needed result. So that there has to be that person that is there as the nucleus of all the activities. When I say the nucleus, I'm talking about the central point of all the works that are going on for us to be able to implement that solution we are trying to implement, to build that thing we are trying to build, to bring that thing we are trying to bring into existence. There has to be somebody that is central to all those things that are done, ensuring that every part works together to deliver the result. That person is what we call the project manager. So one of the traits and skills you need to have, some of them that you need to have as a project manager to be able to function well and deliver result as a project manager, is the fact that you have to be a leader. One of the number one skills is leadership. A good project manager has to be a good leader. The ability to understand what the result is, coordinate people, manage people, to be able to work toward that result. You need to have that ability to manage human beings, control people, and help them, and also motivate them to work toward the result. Because if you don't have that, there are a lot of projects that failed because there was nobody that could be able to manage the project team. The budget was there, everything was there, the technical skills that were needed were there, but we just miss that person that has the ability to coordinate the affairs of others. That project some project has such issues. So as a project manager, one of the key skills you need to exhibit or have is leadership skills. Another one is problem solving skills. Every project is implemented to solve a problem. So you need to have the ability to solve problems as a project manager. Certainly, as long as you're going to manage human beings, there will be issues. There will be misunderstanding, there will be conflict, there will be problems coming in, could be risk. It could be just one problem or the other. You need to have the ability to critically think, identify the root cause of a problem, and then you are able to implement the solution and then solve that problem so that it doesn't affect. There's no project that is implemented without problems and challenges. It could be inflation. When we started the project, things were at certain price, and then we even factored in inflation. But 6 months, just like we have here in Nigeria, in the next 6 months, the prices of things will just go beyond what we ever expected. That is a problem. How are you going to navigate through that so as to be able to still deliver the result without that problem coming to overshadow the project and then failing the project? You need to have that. A project manager needs to be a mentor. We use this approach so much in the technology industry, where you have to be more of a mentor, more of a servant leader to be able to lead the team. Because team members will have problems. So team members need to feel that their leader, their manager, cares about them, cares about their feelings, cares about their well-being. So you have to be a mentor, mentoring your team to be able to succeed in whatever they are doing, which in turn leads to the success of the project Okay. Another thing you have to be good at is communication. One of the things project managers spend their time doing so much, almost every second, is communication. Because as a project manager, most of the times you're not going to be involved in the technical work, right? You're not going to be involved in carrying out the technical aspect of the work. So you are there communicating with some subject matter experts, with your team members, receiving reports, getting complaints, identifying solutions, solving those problems. A good coordinator is one of those, another skill you need. You need to be a good coordinator. Already as a project manager, you are there to coordinate every aspect of the project work to be able to deliver the results. So that ability to coordinate every sub-part of the project, whether the cost of the project, integration, the human resource aspect of the project, procurement aspect of the project, the actual technical work, every aspect of the project, the ability to coordinate them to make sure that they are working as a system is one of the things you need to exhibit as a project manager. You also need to be an integrator, similar to being a coordinator, making sure that every part works together, integrate every part of the project together. Whatever the people handling the budget does has an impact on the people doing the actual work. Okay, whatever the people who are in charge of recruiting the project team members, whatever they do has a way of impacting what the result of the work. So as a project manager, you are there to integrate every aspect of the project together to work as one toward producing the result. Okay, and then another thing is impediment removal. So impediments are basically some issues, some things that can obstruct, that can affect your team from getting the need, whether from management, from the organization, from outside of the organization, or from within, that has what it takes to affect your project team from succeeding. You're also there to do everything you can to remove those obstructions, those things that can affect your team from succeeding. So that's what you do as a project manager, and you need those skills to be able to function well as a project manager. So even if you are well trained in project management, you are even certified, if you don't exhibit these skills, I don't wish anybody bad, but if you don't exhibit these skills, there's that likelihood that you will fail as a project manager. If you're not a good leader, if you're not solving problems in your project team, if you're not mentoring the team, if you're not communicating well with your team, you will have issues with your project. So, okay, remember that when we define what a project is, okay, when we define what a project is, we talk about the application of knowledge, right? So there are what we call 10 knowledge areas in project management. So these are basically the major aspect of the knowledge you need to have as a project manager. These 10 knowledge areas represent the different areas every project has. Okay? So the first one is integration management. That is that aspect of your project that has to do with bringing every part of the project to work together. Remember, I said one of the things you need to know as one of the skills you need to exhibit as a project manager is being an integrator. So there's a knowledge area called project integration management. This has to do with all those processes you have to carry out to be able to join every aspect of the project to work together toward delivering the result. We have project scope management. This has to do with the boundaries of the project. You know, as a project manager, you need to make sure that the budget you have, the time you have, everything you have on your project is to be able to carry out the work to a certain level. So if you were to construct a 2-story building or a 15-kilometer bridge, you cannot go and manage the project and end up constructing a 3-story building or a 20-kilometer bridge. So scope has to do with the boundaries of the project, everything that has to be done in the project, making sure that all the works, all the deliverables that needs to be delivered are delivered, and then the one that doesn't need to be done will not be. You also have project schedule management. Project schedule management has to do with managing your project within the time scale, within when the project, so ensuring that the project is completed when it was to be completed. Okay, so as a project manager, you also manage your yes, Oluwaseun, yes, this slide, I've already mentioned that the slide will be available to everybody. Okay, so so project schedule management has to do with managing your project to be within the time bound of the project. So we start the project when it was to be started, and then the we deliver the result when it was to be delivered. Okay, we can't manage a project that was to be completed in 6 months and we are in the 12th month and the project is not delivered. Even if the project is according to budget, it is still a failed project, because not just being according to budget, it has to also be based on the schedule that was met. Okay, another aspect of the project is cost management. This has to do with everything that has to do with funding, finance, money, the budget of the project. As a project manager, you also need to manage the project within the budget. That's what we call project cost management. So you need to have the knowledge and the ability to manage your project within the budget. So even if you're managing a project and everything is going well, you are solving all problems, and then the project is within schedule, but so far we are almost spending double of what we budgeted to spend, that means something is wrong with the project. So as a project manager, you also need to ensure that your project is within cost. Okay. All right. Another aspect of your project, which is one of the knowledge areas, is project quality management. The word quality, people get it confused. The word quality doesn't, some people always mean the highest grade, but quality means how something conforms to requirement, conformance to requirement. For example, if you're constructing a building and then the requirement for that building is to use 15 rods, for example, you cannot go to use 20 because even when 20 is of higher grade, okay, it is not of quality, because the quality means conforming to the requirement of that particular project. Maybe there's another kind of project that will require that 20 That 20 will conform to that. But as long as this particular work we are trying to do, the best material we need is 15 Don't forget that even bringing a higher grade can even come to put more danger to the project, because probably the foundation that was laid will not be able to carry that 20 It will take the weight of only 15 So if you bring in 20, which is even a higher grade, it will even put more risk to the construction. So you now see that higher grade doesn't necessarily mean good quality. So quality means conformance to the requirements for that particular project. Okay, another knowledge area you also need to know, understand, and then implement very well as a project manager is project resource management. That is your ability, the processes, everything you do to be able to manage all the resources, both physical resources, which we could be talking about machine, equipment, and human resources. That is the project team, people hired to work on the project. That is what project resource management is talking about. Another very important knowledge area you need to be able to know, to be able to implement the project very well, is project communication management knowledge area. Project communication management. It is very important, because as long as your project work is concerned, you are going to communicate almost every time, whether you're communicating with your project team members, or you're communicating with the sponsor or the community people which this project can impact, or the customers who will use the product of this project. In any way you are communicating. So your ability to identify stakeholders, communicate with them, is very, very important. The next one is project risk management. Project risk management is that knowledge area that has to do with your ability to identify potential factors that can affect your project, identify them, and then plan ahead of them. So when we talk about risk, we are not just talking about, I know some people always say, oh, those things that can affect your project negatively. No, but risk can be positive. Yeah, there's some things you did not plan for, but it happened, and then it is not negative, but it is a positive one. In that case, you need to take advantage of it. You even want it to happen. So, for example, you had budgeted your project, and then the cost of materials were maybe $10,000 per material you want to make use of for the project, and Along the line, the price is crashed to $5. That is a risk, but it is a positive one, okay? In the other way around, it could increase, it could double. That's the negative one. So risk can be both positive and negative. So you need to be able to identify every form of risk. As I said, you need to be able to identify every form of risk ahead of time, and then prepare how you are going to manage those risks if they happen. Okay, the second to the last, that is the ninth one, is project stakeholders management. You need one of the things that limits a lot of that fails a lot of projects, mostly in this part of the world, like Nigeria and Africa, is project stakeholders management. That happens a lot in government projects. We always fail to identify the possible people that can be affected by the project or that can affect the project. So when we say stakeholders, we think that we are talking about the big people on the project, like the project sponsor, like the government or the big bosses. No, when we say stakeholders management, we're talking about everybody, every group of persons, every institution, be it within the organization or outside the organization, everybody at all that can affect our project or can be affected by our project. So you're constructing a road. The local residents of the community where that road is constructed are stakeholders because they're the ones who use the road. So that road could affect their farming activities, could affect their work and their movement. So they are stakeholders. You need to identify them and then understand the issues that has to do with them and then how you are going to solve them. Because if they protest, they have a way of affecting the work, right? So, or you managing a project that you require suppliers. Your suppliers are also your stakeholders. They can affect your project. If they fail to supply the tools, the equipment, the materials you need for your project, then that project will be affected. So anybody or any group of persons that can affect your project or can be affected by your project, those are stakeholders. And lastly, project procurement management. Procurement has to do with getting all the resources that you need for your project, whether material resources or human resources, hiring personnel on to work on the team, buying all the equipment or hiring them. Those are what we call project procurement management. So as a project manager, you are in the center of all this, ensuring that the scope of the project aligns with the cost, that's the budget. The budget aligns with the quality, because if you reduce the budget, it may cause reduction in the quality of material we use, which will also affect the quality of the product we have at the end. So every aspect of these 10 aspects of our project relate with each other. That is why we need integration, the ability to make sure that every part of this project works together. Okay, so those are the 10 knowledge areas. Yeah, these are like the explanations of each of them, which I have already done. So these are the 10 knowledge areas: the project integration, project scope, project schedule, project cost, project quality, project resources, project communication, project risk, project procurement, and lastly, project stakeholders management. So when we say project is the application of knowledges, those are the knowledge we're talking about. Those are the key 10 knowledge areas we're talking about. You need to be vested. So whether you're a lawyer, whether you're a doctor, whether you are a pharmacist, whether you're an engineer or a technology person, as a project manager, you need to understand how to manage stakeholders on your project. You need to understand how to carry out the procurement for your project. You need to understand how you're going to manage risk, those factors that can affect your project, communication, quality, resources, schedule, and every aspect of your project. So the problem we have with a lot of technical project managers is always, from my experience, people who are technical subject matter experts in particular areas, sometimes they get so much carried away by the technical aspect of the work. For example, they are technical people in construction, maybe civil engineer. Yeah, then they are to manage a project that has to do with civil engineering, construction of a bridge. Sometimes they get so carried away by the technical work in such a way that they are not keeping an eye on the budget and the expenses so far. You're not keeping an eye on how the personnel on the team is managed. They're not keeping an eye on possible risk factors. that can affect the project, whether they are within or they are outside, like inflation and all of that, in such a way that the technical work may be done so well, but already we are at 50% completion, but we have already used 100% of the budget. Why? Because he or she was not paying attention on the project cost management. So as a project manager, you need to give equal attention to all these areas of your project if your project is to succeed. So that answers the argument. A lot of people always believe that, oh, yes, they are points, they are right. This argument that, oh, should a project manager be technically vested with the area he or she is managing the project in? So the question is, if I'm to manage a project in construction, must I be somebody who is a professional in construction? If I have to manage a project in health, must I be somebody who is a professional in health? Okay, so before we continue, let's just have that discussion. What do you think? Must a project manager be somebody who is a technical expert in that particular area of the project? It's either yes or no. So let's see who says yes, who are the no's. I will be in the middle. Okay, just looking at the response, no response yet. Let's use the chat box. So from time to time, we are going to be communicating, okay? Any response? Should the project manager be someone who is a technical expert in that area of project? For example, if we are constructing the development of a software, a project manager must be a technical expert in that particular kind of software development. Or we're managing the construction of a bridge, a project manager must be somebody who is technically vested in bridge construction. Okay, is it yes or no? He must be technically vested or he must not. No, PM does not need to be. Okay, Chukwemeka says no. Victor Analu says not necessarily. Subject matter expert knowledge will help through. Okay, that's great. Thank you. Any other response? Still waiting. Still waiting. We are not scoring anybody, so you might be right, you might not be wrong. For this question, I clearly know that I can't really say yes or no. All what I will always do is to give the advantages of this and the disadvantages and the advantages of the other way around. So others, we have about 40 persons here. Okay, yes, it's not necessary. So almost like everybody responding so far is saying, no, not necessary. Being an expert gives him an edge. Yeah, that is also a good one. So you can say yes, yeah. I've already mentioned that being an expert in that field gives you an edge. Olorunda Paul says no. Okay, all right, thank you very much. Yes, if you say no, you have a point. So others who say yes, you also have a point. Okay, so let me take from the yes perspective. If you have, just like someone had said, let me see if I can. Okay, Patrick Ikeji said that being a technical person or subject matter expert gives you an added edge to be able to manage that project. Yes. So imagine just being a complete novice in a particular area and then you're going to manage projects in that area. You might be lost when the technical aspect of the work is discussed. If it is a very big project, they could have what we call an SME, that is a subject matter expert. So someone who is there for the technical aspect while you are there to coordinate all the 10 areas we've mentioned of the project. That is a good one. But if we don't have someone like that, then probably we will need someone who is technically vested to some extent. Might not be completely, but to some extent, it is an added advantage. Okay. But on the no perspective, I will also agree with people who says no, because I've also experienced a situation whereby technical people come and then they get so carried away. That's always the major problem. They get so carried away by the technical aspect of the work because they love the technical aspect of the work, and that's the area they specialize in. They know that so much. So they get carried away by the technical aspect of the work in such a way that other aspects of the work, like the cost aspect of the work, that is the budget, like the resource management aspect, like risk, other aspects start failing. And the moment all these aspects are failing, no matter how quality the technical work was, no matter how quality the bridge construction was the project will end up failing. So even if someone is a subject matter expert, there is that need to give equal attention to every aspect of the project. That is why some people will always favor a non-technical person, a non-subject matter expert to be a project manager. Not because they understand the work, but because since they are not really subject matter experts in the technical aspect of the work, they will just be there to give equal attention to every aspect of the project, okay? To give equal attention to cost management, managing stakeholders, managing procurement, managing the budget, managing the schedule. So every aspect of the project will be equally given attention in such a way that everything will go well on every aspect of the project till the result is delivered. But on the other hand, when you have a technical person, they tend to get carried away by the technical work in such a way that other aspects of the work begin to fail, and at the end of it, the project fails, even when the technical aspect of the work was actually managed or carried out well in such a way that everything was meeting the quality, but we are already above budget. We are already extra 4 months into the project. We have not completed. There are so many risks happening. Inflation is not well managed. All the issues are coming on. The workers on the project side are striking, like they are embarking on strike and don't want to do the work. All kinds of issues are happening because the technical project manager was not, or the project manager was not giving good attention. But this is not me saying that, yeah, I favor that the project manager should not be a technical subject matter expert. No, a technical project manager is an added advantage. Imagine you understand the technicalities of the work, and then you're also managing every other aspect of the project. That is a thumbs up for me. That is the best. But most of the times, I have experienced technical project managers being carried away by the technical work in such a way that every other aspect of the project will begin to fail. All right, thank you. That was a good interaction. All right, so this is what we popularly call the 5 stages of project management, which everybody knows, right? So every project passes through these stages: initiation, planning, executing, monitoring, and controlling, and then closure. Okay, there's a question from Jerome. In the course of managing budget, can you compromise purchasing low-grade material in order not to pass the budget? That is where the discrepancy or the difference between grade and quality is, okay? So grade, the word grade means materials having the same technical components, okay? So those are grade, but quality means conforming to requirements. So if we say 18 mm rod, that is a higher grade than 15 mm rods, for example, and 15 mm are lower than 20. So the higher the technical components, the higher the grade we can talk about, right? So, but the best thing that is needed for a project is quality, conformance to requirements. So if a particular work requires a lower grade of material, that lower grade of material in that case is quality, okay? But your question is, can we compromise purchasing low grade? If the low grade you are purchasing was what the stakeholders or the project needed, like that is what we define that we need for this particular project because it will fit this project, okay? That means everything is okay. But already you are using the word compromise. It means you are probably reducing, probably going down from what we needed so as to be able to make sure that everything is within the budget. That is the wrong thing to do as a project manager, because what you're doing there, the result is adding more risk to the product we are trying to develop. So if, for example, we budgeted to use 15 mm rods for the construction of a 3-story building, for example, and then because of inflation, maybe the 15 mm we budgeted to use have become so expensive in such a way that what we budgeted is now the cost for 13 mm. and then we decide to now downgrade the grade, now decide to downgrade the material we are to use to the 13 just so that we can be within budget, then it is wrong for project management. It is wrong. We cannot do that. Cannot do that. So that's what we call contingency reserve and management reserve in budgeting. Okay. So those reserves are kept so that if there are some unforeseen circumstances in the future that we did not see happening, okay, we can now refer to those reserves, just like making a budget and then having what we call miscellaneous. So if there are some materials that have become more expensive than what we thought, we now go back to the reserve and make use of that. Or there's what there are always room for changing the budget. So you can pass with the integrating change control system, where you tell the management, okay, this inflation, so the cost of materials are now higher. So please, we need extra funds, so that you don't compromise on the quality of the work. Because if you compromise on the quality of the work, it could even incur more money. So let's say after 2 years, the building is now cracking, and then and for us to correct that, we might need to spend more amount of money, or to some extent we might not even need to do any corrective or defective repair. We need to pull it down. I've seen a lot of buildings that were marked for demolition after construction because the materials used or the construction did not meet the quality of that particular place. So imagine the cost you have incurred just because we're just trying to save some few bucks. Okay, so compromising quality so as to be within budget is not a good option. So we are going to see that as we go on the training. So every project, as I said, passes through these 5 stages. That is initiation, planning, executing, monitoring and controlling, and closure. So initiation are the processes you perform to define the project, like you bring the project into existence. So something like developing the charter, identifying stakeholders. So those are the things you do during the initiation stage. The planning stage is that all the processes and activities you carry out to be able to plan, set the objectives, and then identify the actions you are going to take to be able to implement the project, to be able to carry out the work. This is where you plan and set for all the things you are going to do. Things like developing the project management plan, collecting requirements, planning for the scope, planning for the cost, determining the budget. Those are the things you do during the planning stage of the project. After planning, that is when you start your project. That is execution. Execution is where you carry out all the work of the project. And then while the work is going on, the next stage, which I don't really see it as a stage. I always say that monitoring and controlling is a cross-cutting stage or cross-cutting thing when the project is ongoing, because it is not actually a stage. You don't need to do you don't need to complete execution before you start monitoring and controlling the project. But for the sake of learning, that is why we are placing it somewhere. Outside that, it happens across every stage of the project, because the moment your project starts from the initiation stage of the project, you are beginning to monitor and control. Monitoring and controlling basically means keeping an eye on the project to make sure that everything that you want to do or you're doing is according to how you want it to be done. If there are any deviations, you make some corrective move. And then at the end of it, the closing comes in. This is where we carry out every activity to be able to bring the project to an end. So that's the popular concept, the 5 stages of project management. Okay, so based on that question, this is where we are headed to now. This is what we call project management, project constraints. So as a project manager, one of the reasons why you are needed as a project manager is to manage the constraints. So when we say constraints in project, we are just talking about those factors that limit your options or your decisions as a project manager. So you are to keep everything within this confine, within this limit. You cannot go beyond it. So for example, if you are managing a project and then the project sponsor says you want this project to be ready in 2 years, that is the schedule being a constraint. So that is a constraint because you cannot exceed 2 years. And then the budget of this project would be $2 million US. Then that is a constraint. That is the cost as a constraint. So you cannot go beyond that. You are within the set limits. So those factors that these things is limited to. Paul and Eke says, can we get the recording? Yes, please. You are going to get the recording and the slide. Thank you. Okay, so project constraints are simply those factors that limit your options. So, irrespective of what you want to do, you have to do it within the limits of this set cost, within the limits of this or that. So, constraints are those things that limit the option of your project. And as a project manager, one of the reasons why you're needed on the project is to manage constraints. Okay, you are there to make sure that every limitations of the project is well managed in such a way that everything is going according to plan. So in project management, there are those factors or those aspects of the project that the decisions or options of the project manager or the project team are limited to. So as a project manager or project team, there's nothing you can do if the project sponsor says we are spending $4 million on this project. So you are constrained to that budget. You are constrained to the schedule because they say we need this project in 2 years' time. Okay, you are constrained to that. You are constrained to the scope. If they say, okay, you are going to construct a 15-kilometer bridge, for example, you are limited to the scope of that work. It has to be 15. It cannot be more than that. So those are what we call constraints. And as a project manager, you need to balance these different constraints. So before now, we used to talk about the triple constraint concept. That is talking about scope, cost, schedule as the only constraint in the project. But it goes beyond that because you are still constrained in the aspect of risk as a project manager, quality, and resources. Okay, so as a project manager, you are expected to manage and balance these constraints because they compete with each other. Okay, so let's just see example of how this works. So these are basically the 6 areas you are constrained to as a project manager. So you can see that all these are equal. So we have planned our project, we have set the budget, we have set the cost, we have set the resources that will be needed for the project we have identified and all the risks. We know the scope of the work that we want to do. We have set the quality, all the requirements have been met. You can see that this project as it stands now is balanced because you are managing every aspect. You are giving attention to every aspect of the work. So the scales are balanced when all constraints are well managed in relation to one another. So the moment you make changes to one without making changes to the other ones, you now see your project beginning to have a problem. Just take a look at this. What do you think happens in this project now? What is happening here is that maybe the sponsor or the project manager or whatsoever is in charge of the project has added extra work. That is, the scope of the project has been expanded. So extra work has been added to the project, but they have not expanded the duration of the project. They have not added extra money to the project. They have not added additional resources to the project because of that extra work, to take care of those extra work. What have you seen happening here? Something has also increased too because of the extra work that has been added to the scope of the work without adding extra time or extra money or extra resources. Has anybody observed anything? Let's use the chat box quickly. Anything you've observed? Anything? This is scope. Scope has increased in this project. Before, this was it. Everything is well balanced, the same. But as you can see, scope becomes bigger, meaning that we have added extra work to the project. Okay, risk increase. Exactly. That was from Chukwemeka. Thank you very much. Because we have added extra work to the project, and they still tell the project manager that we are going to complete this project within the set time as before, and still using the same budget before. What would the project manager do here? The project manager will say, oh, so that we can still complete this project within the set time and the set using the same budget. probably we might have to reduce quality. If you look at it, you have seen that the quality of the work has reduced. That's exactly what Jerome asked. Can we compromise the quality of material? Yeah, maybe you. Witness. Hello, someone is speaking. Someone was speaking. Okay, so that's exactly what the question was talking about. So can we compromise the grade of material so as to be within the budget? That is the answer to the question. In this case, the scope of work has been added, but they have not added more money, they have not added more time to the project. So because of that, the project manager or the project team has decided to reduce the quality of the material so as to keep more money for the extra work that is needed. Because of that, this decision, you can see that risk has increased. Is that
Sorry, Mr. Kemini, we don't seem to be able to hear you anymore. No sound from your end.
sound? Please, is there anybody having sound issues?
No, we're not hearing you for a while. I think you are back now.
Oh, okay, thank you. So I was trying to explain that this is a project that is well managed. Every constraint is well managed. But the moment the project decided to increase the scope of the project, okay, the scope of the project has been increased without increasing the duration of the project, also increasing maybe the cost, that is adding additional money to take care of the additional work that has been done. What will happen is the project team might decide to reduce the quality of work so as to make sure that we still complete this project within the set time. So in that case, what happens there? Please, someone, I think someone's mic is on. Then your mic is on, so please do work with it. Okay, so what happens there is that the risk, you have more risk, the double possibility of this of the project failing. So that is where we talk about balancing the different aspects of the project. Okay, so let us take a look at another example. So you now see that in this one, who can observe that this scale now is balanced even when some things have changed? This scale now is balanced. Can you see that? So what has happened here is, since the scope was increased, right? And then because of the scope increase, there have been increase in risk. This scope increase has led to the reduction in quality of the material, and then more risk has been added. So the management decides to increase the budget. Have you observed that the cost here has also increased compared to what we had before? This is what we had before, so that makes the project not to be balanced. Now they have increased the cost of the project. So we now have more money that can take care of whatever risk that could happen. So now this project now is well balanced. So now one of the reasons, I was just trying to explain the fact that you are there to be able to manage and balance every aspect of the project. So giving more attention to the technical aspect of the project without giving the corresponding attention to the other aspects of the project could lead to the failure of the project. That's exactly what happened here. Now, since for us to balance this scale again, we have to add additional money. Probably we have not added additional time, but we have added additional money that we can use to get more equipment and more persons to work within the short period of time, and we will still deliver the project within when it was to be delivered. I don't know if that is well understood. So this has been able to answer that question. The moment you decide to compromise quality, then certainly risk is going to increase. You're going to face more risk, with higher chance of project failing. So if you affect quality, you also need to affect other areas of the project to ensure that the work is still balanced. Maybe if you have reduced the quality of the work, then you need to reduce the scope of the work. So imagine we reduce the sizes of the road and we have to construct a 3-story building. If we decide to reduce the stories to 2-story building, then probably we can say that the quality of the roads we are using now can handle the weight of a 3-story building. Okay, all right. So please, do we have any question at this point? Any question? Or are we following, are we understanding some, are we learning new things? Just let me know, use the chat box so I can be sure that we are communicating. Okay? I'm waiting, looking at the chat box. It says understood. Okay. Nice to meet you, Yenime. Olisa Odua says, okay, all right, thank you. Please, are we following? If there's any concern or any point you're lost, please do well to drop your question. I'm always visiting the chat box from time to time to ensure that and you understand. And at the end, we open up for us to unmute ourselves and ask questions. Okay, so we talked about the fact that one of the objectives for this training would be to be introduced to the main methodologies for managing projects. Okay, so this is what we call the traditional or the waterfall approach to project management, which is what we call the plan-driven approach to project management. We also have the one that is more contemporary, we call agile and adaptive. Okay, somebody let me zoom to what is the correlation between Scrum, Agile, and project management? Okay, we are going to come to that. I think by the time we are done, we should understand. In a situation whereby the scope is reduced and the original budget is maintained, what will be the impact on quality? Okay, probably we can say that if we had compromised quality before, there will be a positive impact on the quality because now the scope of the work has been reduced and then the money is still there. So probably we can replan the project and put that money in some other aspect which we had reduced the quality so as to make sure that the quality is still maintained. So certainly there will be no negative impact on the quality. But still, we still have to manage that project well because it could lead to mismanagement of cost, mismanagement of funds, because there's a lot of money that is left and it's not used for anything. So some people can decide to embezzle it. Don't forget that at the end of every project, we also they have to be benefit to the organization. Okay, they have to be benefit to the organization. So I don't think there's any organization that would be happy if their money is not well spent on the project. So if for any reason the project, the quality, or sorry, the scope of work has been reduced, leaving so much money to be spent on nothing, then something should also be done to the project for us, probably to make sure that we can take that money into something else that will be of impact to the project. But it will not have a negative effect on the quality of your project. Okay. Okay, please, I can have access. Yes, you have access. Somebody was asking about access. Okay, I'm a facility personnel. Is taking project management training additional advantage? Yeah, of course. You manage facility, right? Equipment, and then probably an entire facility of the company. Yes, it will be an added advantage because there could come a time where we say, okay, we want to upgrade our facility. That we want to renovate our entire facility. And that is a project. You who have a good knowledge of the entire facility, managing that project will give that project an additional advantage. So it is a good one. Taking the training is an additional advantage. When we began this training, we set example of projects across every industry. There is no single industry we do not have a project. So as a subject matter expert in facility management already, having a good project management background is an added advantage when it comes to managing projects within the facility management aspect of work. Okay, so it is a good one. It's another advantage. All right. So okay, someone Chukwemeka, I hope I've been able to answer your question very well. All right, thank you. So I was introducing us to the two main approaches to project management. You have what we call the traditional waterfall approach to project management, which is plan-driven. It is called plan-driven because in this approach to project management, you have to take time to plan everything in details from the beginning to the end. So even if the project is to last for 5 years, you are going to plan every details of the project into the 5 years before you even start implementing the project. That's why it's also called a plan-driven approach to project management. On the other hand, there are some industries that things change so fast that you don't need to take time to plan everything before you start doing. You can do things as you go on, you are discovering more things about the project and then you are doing more. Okay, that's what we call the agile or adaptive approach to project. It is used more in technology. The technology industry uses agile so much. And one of the examples of agile or one of the most used framework for agile is what we call Scrum. Somebody was asking about Scrum. Scrum is the most popular agile methodology. Sorry, not methodology, agile framework used in managing agile projects or agile product development. There are some projects that require the combination of these two. So combining these two gives rise to what we call the hybrid approach to project management. So waterfall or traditional approach to project management is used more if you understand the scope of the work. Okay, so if you know the scope of the work, you clearly know everything that has to be done. For example, you want to construct a 15-kilometer bridge. So we clearly know the length of the bridge, we clearly know the features, going to be a hanging bridge, going to be a cabled bridge. You clearly understand all the specifications about the work we are going to do. So since we clearly understand everything, we can be able to determine the budget, we can be able to determine how long it will take, we can be able to determine almost everything about the work ahead of time, even before we start the work. So since we know everything about the work and the project, we are able to plan everything. So construction industry still make use of the waterfall approach to project management so much. So there's always some contemporary project managers are always in that argument that the waterfall is old, is outdated. No, I am not of that school of thought. One of the things that makes you a good project manager is being able to understand, being able to identify which approach you should use. It's what we call way of working in PMI, okay, Project Management Institute. And then what it entails is ability to understand what approach, what methodology this particular project requires. That's one of the things that stands you out as a project manager. Imagine you are trying to use the agile framework to implement a project that is purely waterfall approach. It will fail. So as a project manager, you need to understand the characteristics of both waterfall and agile, and then so that you'll be able to know when to use which. So we are going to come to that. So in waterfall, each phase follows each other. So first of all, we take time to plan everything. We need to plan the cost, know the budget, know everything before we even start doing the work. So after planning, that's when we start implementing, start doing the work. It's after doing the work that is when we can now hand over the work to the customer to see. Okay, so it is sequential, but the agile approach to project management, it is different. We might not take time to know everything about the work. That's how softwares are developed. That's why agile is used more in technology and software development. So we might not take time to know everything. So what we do is that we do a little, show it to the customer. For example, for people who are into graphic design. So let's assume somebody wants to develop a new logo. That's an example of agile approach to project management. That's project development is that logo development is a project. So what do? They do the little they know, show it to the customer reviews it, use it, now give feedback, and then they take it back, add more features, give it to the customer to test. The customer looks at it and provide more feedback. Based on this feedback, they continue to add more features, continue to update it till when the customer finally says, yes, this product meets what we needed. So that is an example of agile, and that is how all the softwares we use are developed. The Facebook and all of that. So in the tech industry, they use more of agile, and the most popular framework of agile is what we call Scrum. Scrum is the most popular. So if you're working in technology industry, after studying general project management, you might love to also specialize in the agile framework such as Scrum. And there are some tools like Jira, Asana, and even Trello, and all those softwares they use in managing Scrum and agile projects. So the waterfall models are well suited for projects that have clear, unambiguous, and well understood requirements, such as construction, maybe road construction, house construction, bridge construction. The construction industry, the engineering industry, still make use of waterfall so much, because by the time someone clearly says, I want you to construct a 3-story building, this 3-story building will have this, will have that, will have these features. If you can easily, clearly understand everything about the work, at least to a good extent, so waterfall is ideal. But in software development, nobody knows how the software will function till that software is built and used. So that is why we do it in bits and then show to customers, get customer feedback, and continue to improve. So that is how agile works. So in agile, you don't really need to take time to do all the work. To plan everything and know everything, get all the requirements, all the features before you start doing the work. No, the little requirements you've gotten, you can start building the software, and as you go on, the customer will continue to add more features, make more reviews, make more feedback, and then you continue to make it, upgrade it, make it better than it was, till when we are sure that we will be able to develop. But the waterfall approach to project management is different. That's actually one of the reasons why it is called the traditional approach to project management, because that is the first ever approach to project management that existed from the very first beginning. So where everybody takes time to plan the work they are going to do before they even start doing it. But along the line, the technology, the software development sector or industry began to find issues with this approach, because we have come to live so much in a fast-changing world, such a way that even before we even finish developing a particular software, there is a new AI that is in town and everybody is moving to it. So, and if you now launch your software using the old AI people were using, that your software may not be needed in the market, may not sell in the market. So how do we carry out our software development in such a way that when we launch, it will meet the needs of the customer as at that present time? That is where Agile was introduced, because customer needs, customer satisfaction keep changing, technology keep changing, things keep changing so fast. So that's why Agile came into the software. So if you're working in the software industry or the technology industry, developing softwares and all of that, you will want to consider learning Agile deeper. Okay. All right, so this is just like a graphical presentation on how Agile works. So you now see that, let's say we want to build a software. So these two projects is to build a software. So the other team decides to use the waterfall approach to project management. They collect all the requirements. So waterfall, you do every stage before you complete one stage before you move into the other one, and then like that you are able to develop everything. So you collect the requirement first. After collecting the requirements, that is requirement that means getting all the features the customers will want to see in the software you are building. You now come to design. After designing, then you see a good model. You now see how the software will work and look like. That's when you start building the software. That's implementation. You start writing the code. Okay. So after you've finished writing the code and then building the software, That is when you verify. That is all this while we are not testing, we are not using to see how it works. It is after you are done building everything, that is when you now come to test. And after testing, that is when you hand over to the customer or you launch it into the market. Now, at this stage, along this line, let's say it took 6 months. Along the line, along these 6 months, things could change in the market. There could be a new technology that this your software may not be able to work with again. So the customer's needs, customer requirements have changed over time. So now this was a problem because when software were launched, what happens? The customers would, so new software will be launched, and then on the day of launch, they're already outdated because technologies are so advancing so fast. So the people in the software development industry said, okay, we need to find a better approach to developing softwares or carrying out projects in the software industry so as to continuously make sure that whatever we are building meets the needs of the customer as at the present. So they decided to launch the concept of Agile, where we do the work a little, show it to the customer. So we don't take time to collect all the requirements, all the features, design it before we start doing it. And after completing it, we now show it to the customer and launch it. So we do it in little parts. So we do it, show it to, maybe after 1 month, we show it to the customer tests it and add more features based on the present needs of the customer. We go back and add those new features, take out some that are no longer needed. We continue to upgrade. That is why when you could see here, all these boxes are the different stages. So you now see at every stage, the boxes are becoming bigger. That is, more features are added. And then till the last point, that is when the product is launched to the market. And at this point, since 1 month ago or 2 weeks ago, the customers were already still making inputs to the software. You can now agree that when it is launched, is that high chance that the customers would, or the software will meet the needs of the customers as at the present, because they were continuously providing feedback throughout the whole development process of the project. Unlike the waterfall approach, where it is until the end. Just take example of you constructing a house for someone. It is when you've completed the construction, that is when the house is finally handed over. When you're constructing a bridge, it is after completing the construction of the bridge, that is when the company hands over the bridge or the road or whatever to the government, and it is commissioned to the public to start using. But in the software development industry, it is different. It's what we call beta testing. So there are some apps you can register as a beta tester. So as more features are developed, they are rolling it out for you to test. For example, we are currently in Android 14, right? And also iOS 17. Now, they have started developing iOS 18. While we are here waiting for iOS 18, there are some people who are beta testers, some customers who Apple have already sent the new updates like iOS 18 to. So they are using it and providing feedback. So this feedback is now used to even add more features and make it better. Now it is at the end of this process, that's when they are going to launch the final one. That's an example of an agile approach to project management. So as a professional project manager, you are not to say that the waterfall approach is an old approach to project management. No, this is the foundation of every other framework approach you can come to think of in the world today. And they are still used heavily in some industries, like in construction. Construction, you need to know almost the cost of the material, the work you are going to do, the design of the house, how the house will look like when it is completed. Now we even have 3D printing, where the final version of the house is even printed in 3D form, and you can see how your house will look like before it is even constructed. So that is clearly waterfall. You don't need to mix it up. You need to understand which approach to use and which one not to use. Okay, so guys, we just have a few minutes to the end of this class. Let's just do a little work together, okay? So we are going to, let's assume we have 2 projects we are going to manage. One of these projects will require waterfall. One will require the agile approach. So now, based on your understanding of what the waterfall, that is traditional approach to project management is, or the agile approach to project management is. I want to test our understanding of how we know when to use agile, when to use waterfall. Are you ready? Are we ready? So you can unmute yourself for few minutes, 1 or 2 minutes, or you can use the chat. You can use the chat box. You want to carry out an exercise in 1 or 2 minutes. Are you ready? Just let me get your feedback. Are you ready? Yes. Okay. Chemaka says yes. All right. Let's go. All right. So there are 2 projects we are going to manage. One project is to renovate our company's office admin block. Okay. So that's project 1, renovation of our company's office admin block. Project 2 is to develop our company's new e-commerce mobile application. So we are going to develop a software for our company. So maybe our company, we are working for, let's assume that we are working for a supermarket, a very big supermarket, and then we want to start selling online. We want to build an app where people can buy something online. So you download the software and then buy things online, and then we deliver it. So that's what project 2 is. Project 1 is to renovate our company's office admin block. We want to renovate it, maybe change the roof, paint, and the rest. Okay, so which methodology or approach fits which one? Oh, that thing is not wired. So which one? Let me see. Okay, please can you type the question? The question is there on the screen, please. The question is there on the screen. I don't know if you are using a phone device. Okay, so project 1, which approach do you think would fit? Project 1. Okay, Jerome says project 1 will be waterfall. Okay. Nicholas, I recommend waterfall. That's project 1. Project 2 for agile. Okay. Samuel says project 1 is waterfall, project 2 is agile. Okay. Okay. Yenime says project 1 is waterfall, project 2 is agile. Okay, great feedback so far. At least I'm glad that it shows that we clearly understand the difference between the 2. Exactly, we are right. Everyone is right about that. Project 1 will certainly be a waterfall approach to project management because we know what we are going to do. We clearly know the color of the paint we are going to paint. We know the quality of the roof we are going to use. We know the amount of tables that are needed for all the offices. We know the quality of the table we are going to use, the color, the design, the chairs we are going to use. We clearly know everything. So we can now budget for it. We know how long all of them can be all of them can take to be ready. So we clearly know, we can identify the budget, we can know how long it will take, we can know everything about the work. So that is where waterfall is the ideal methodology to use here. So project 2, we are trying to develop a software. Remember, I said that the agile approach to project management is used more in the software, though it is now entering into it's now appreciated almost across every industry. Okay, so but it is used more in the software industry because the app we are trying to develop, okay, the app we are trying to develop, we do not know exactly how, even when we may have an idea of how it will work, you can never know how a software works until it is used. Okay, and then the people that will give you the best feedback on how the software is working are the people that will use it. It is your customers that are going to use the app to buy goods and services from you. Okay, so you are going to use an iterative approach to developing that software. That is, we do the little we know. Based on the amount of features we have gotten so far, we build the app. And then as we are building, we are launching it to the customers to be able to use, provide feedback. Based on this feedback, we continue to improve it till we are able to build almost all the key features that the customer wanted in that software, in that app. So that is clearly an agile approach to developing that product. Thank you very much. I'm glad we understand it. So this is just how project 1 will look like. So we initiate the project, we plan everything. It is after we plan, that's when we are going to start executing, we collect the requirements before we even start doing everything. And after doing everything and building the main, changing, repainting, changing all the decks, cleaning everything is ready. That is when we hand over that new administrative block to the company to start using it. But on the other hand, developing the e-commerce mobile app, that is the software, we are going to collect requirements and then start building. As we build, we present it to the customers within every iteration. We build it iteratively. We show it to the customers. The customer provides feedbacks, add more things. We continuously update the app and then build more features into the app, take out some ones, make changes. That's why it's also called change-driven approach to project management, because we continuously add things, we continuously make changes to the features. So when we are able to build the final version of the application, and then we launch it to customers to make use of. So those are basically the two approaches to project management: the waterfall and agile. And then somebody will ask me, so what about we hear of Scrum? What is Scrum? Scrum now is agile, is like the umbrella name for all the iterative approach you can use to manage projects or to develop products. Scrum is one of them. We have Kanban. For those of you who have heard of Kanban, we have Kanban, we have Lean, we have XP, that is Extreme Programming. There are so many of them, but out of these tens or hundreds of different frameworks, Scrum is the most popular. In fact, 80 to 90% of the time when people are talking about agile, they are going to be talking about Scrum, because Scrum is the most popular, more especially for software development. It just fits so much for software development. So Scrum is an example of agile approach to product development. Okay, it's the most popular. So if you are in the technology industry and then you want to go to project management, I will also say you need to study agile, not just the waterfall approach to project management. You need to go deeper into agile and even specialize in Scrum as one of the most popularly used agile framework. Okay, so why should you consider a career in project management for those of us who are here or considering launching into professional project management? One of the reasons is there will be over 25 million project management openings by 2030. Project management alone, over 25 million globally, and it is expected to increase as we go on. So on the average, there will be over 25 million openings, because as companies are beginning to understand the need for professional project management, a lot of project management openings would be there, most especially as we live in a fast-changing world whereby there will be need for us to update our technology, upgrade our softwares, and then implement a lot of solutions. Those are how. Okay, yeah, this class should be done in the next 15 minutes. Okay, someone was asking. Okay, the next 15 minutes, the class, the training should be done, and then you will get introduced to some goodies. Just as we said that at the end of this training, there will be some packages, some goodies, some things you might want to have. So I would advise, I would encourage us to stay to the end. In the next 15 minutes, I will be done. Okay, so there are over 25 million project management openings by 2030. So that's one of the reasons why more project managers will be needed by 2030. That's what that point means. Project management skill is ranked in the top 7 in-demand industry skills by LinkedIn. So LinkedIn ranks project management as a last year as one of the top 7 skills. So imagine thousands, if they're not up to millions of skills in the whole world, imagine hundreds of thousands of skills. And one skill is ranked among the top 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in-demand industry skills. So that is one of the reasons we need to consider learning. So even if you don't want to be a professional project manager, you need that skill, because it is one of the top 7 needed skills, irrespective of the work you are going to, irrespective of what your primary profession is. Okay. Project management is not just a professional skill alone, it is also a life skill. So you now see that you can apply project management in even setting your personal goals and achieving it. So your goal is a project. That's how I see it, okay? The goal is a project. So you need to have the ability to implement your goal and get the needed results at the end of it. So that is example of a project. So apart from being a professional skill, one of the reasons why you need to study project management is that apart from being a professional skill, it's also a life skill. It's something that is a knowledge you can use on your own outside the space of work, okay? Number 4, it is a cross-cutting industry skill and profession. There is project in every industry, hence the need for project managers in every industry. So it is one of those few professional skills that is needed across every industry. Every industry. There is projects in law, there is project in health, there is project in construction, there is project in engineering, in technology. Just think of it. In religion, there is project. Just think of every aspect of our life. There are projects. So the skill is something that is needed. The same skill is needed in health, it is needed in law, it is needed in every aspect. So you are going to gain a skill that is needed across almost every industry. So even if you decide to leave agriculture to tech, that skill is still relevant there. Decide to leave tech to manufacturing, that skill is still relevant there. Okay? Almost every corporate role requires project management skill. In almost every role today, even if someone is trying to employ you as an accountant, as an auditor, as an engineer, it requires project management skill. If you take time to read through the requirements, the skills needed for that, you always see project management. Sometimes you might not see there clearly stated project management skill. Sometimes you will see it, but you agree with me that you will always see something like the ability to plan and implement a task, or the ability to manage a task and deliver results. That is project, because a project is managing activities that will end up delivering the needed result. So whether they say have a project management skill or have the skill to manage and implement tasks and then deliver results, or the ability to lead a team to deliver results, that's just talking about project management skill. Okay, the last one, project management makes up 102 million out of 3.4 billion jobs globally, and it's projected to increase by 2030. So we have up to millions of jobs in this world. You agree with me? There are countless kinds of jobs in this world, but one kind of job called project management accounts for 102 million of all the employment globally. And then it is also projected to increase. It means that that skill is highly sought after. There's something in that skill. So whether you want to be a career project manager, like a professional project manager with a job role, project manager, or you just need the skill, it is not a waste because you are highly needed. Not actually only as a project manager, but that skill is so much needed for you to be able to implement results. Okay, so those are one of the reasons why you should consider, those are some of the reasons why you should consider a career in project management, or why you should learn project management. So why is project management so important? This is mainly to organizations. It's a means of problem solving, means to problem solving. Every problem, just think of every problem you want to solve. It requires implementation of a project, because all what that means is that you are going to define or identify the solution to this problem. And then this solution, you need to identify the activities you need to carry out to implement this solution. And then you need to implement those activities. So the process of implementing all these activities to solve this particular problem, it's project management. So project management is said to be the means to problem solving. Project management ensures that projects are implemented in a way that meets all set objectives. So if you don't apply professional project management, that is when a work is done or a project is completed and just few months after completion, we are beginning to spend extra money in making corrections or carrying out defect repairs or corrective repairs on the project. So after constructing a road, 2 months after, we are even beginning to have potholes. There is need to award additional contracts to fill the potholes 2 months after constructing a road. That's actually because we have not implemented a professional approach to managing that project. We just believe that it is just about giving out the project to a group of people to start constructing the road. But if you have a professional project manager who is going to take care of every aspect of the road construction, including quality and every other aspect of it, we'll be able to implement projects which would not require so much additional funds or would take time before we even start making corrective actions to it. Project management ensures that projects are implemented within budget, time, scope, and expected quality. So when you, just example of I've already said, when you implement a professional approach to, when you implement the correct approach to managing your project, you ensure that it's not just about you completing the work, but completing the work to be within the budget that was determined, within the schedule, that's the time, within the scope of the work, and within the quality that was needed. So implementing a professional project management in any project prevents the cost of rework or cost of product rejection. I've already mentioned that. So it reduces the chance of having your product to be rejected after launching. So when you know that this software product I am building requires agile, and then you use agile approach to project management to manage that product development, is a high chance that your project or your product will be accepted at the end. But where you don't know, you use a different approach, and then at the end of it, your product will be launched and it is not accepted in the market. And that's the third project. Another reason why project management is important is that it is, according to Technopedia, organizations that uses project management practices consistently have a 92% success rate in meeting project objectives. 92% in all their projects. That is high enough. The remaining 8% is just basically the fact that sometimes things do not always go according to plan. That's you just managing risk. But where professional project management is not implemented, we have situations where projects begin to fail. And you agree with me, for those who are from Nigeria and Africa, there are a lot of failed mega projects out there, mostly projects that are handled by government. So many billions have been sunk into projects, and then at the end of it, they end up failing. And if you trace into it, professional project management practices was not implemented. It could be in the area of managing costs, could be in the area of managing risk, could be in the area of stakeholders management, identifying people that could be affected by this project, identifying factors that can affect this project ahead of time so that you work on those factors. But those are not always done in our government projects or then leading our projects. So these are the reasons why project management are important. And that is why today, not that there was no project management like 10, 20 years ago, but today, organizations, entities, governments, individuals are awakening to the fact that, oh, we have been doing this all wrong. So we are trying to implement professional approach to project management to solving our project problems professionally. That is why is that surge in the need for project management practice, and then the need for more project managers. And that's why almost a lot of people are beginning to get trained in project management, increase in project management certifications, training, all of that here and there, increase in project management opening. Okay, so how do I get to mastering project management? So I will always say the first stage is getting the knowledge, just like we have decided to join this webinar today, and we have gotten a good foundation into what project management is. And then we put this into use. This training was just a foundation which will introduce you to the fundamentals of project management. And then after this, you can decide to go deeper to studying those 10 knowledge areas deeper and deeper, and then Agile, Scrum, and all of that deeper, which I believe that Mr. Pius and Detnova has something in stock after this training, some discount and some things you take home with after this training. Just wait to the end of it in the next few minutes, I will be done. So when you get the knowledge, you put it into use, that is you gaining the experience, and then you can get certified. If you are into project management professionally, I will always say get more advanced training beyond this introductory aspect of it, and then get certified. And that is what Nova Consulting Limited will also help you to. And when you do this, you are on your way to becoming a professional in project management. And if I'm to recommend some project management certifications for you, I would say these are the 3 that stands out globally. Okay, we have PMP, the most popular. You will agree with me that PMP, that's Project Management Professional. PMP is the most popular. PMP is offered or certified by PMI, Project Management Institute, that is headquartered in the US and has chapter across every country of the world. PMI is globally recognized, has global recognition. And for PMP, you need about 2 to 3 years of project management experience, which they will require you to document it before you can apply and get approved for the exams. We also have the CAPM, the one to the left, Certified Associate in Project Management. It is also offered by PMI. CAPM is like the intro like the entry level certification in project management. So experience is not needed. All what is needed here is the training, just like you've started today. And it's also globally recognized. So people who are launching into project management newly, or people who are just barely maybe 1 year experience in project management, do not have that experience needed for you to take the PMP. That is where CAPM is needed. It is also globally recognized and very popular. Now, the one in the middle is what we call the Prince 2 certification, both foundation and practitioner. Foundation is entry level. It doesn't require any requirements, any experience. For the practitioner, it's just like the advanced level, just like the PMP. But the difference between these two is that the Prince 2 is mainly recognized and known. They are very popular in the UK. So if you're someone that is planning to relocate into the UK and practicing project management in the UK, that is England, Scotland, Wales, I think about 4 countries of the UK, United Kingdom, you might want to consider Prince 2. Okay, Prince 2 is very popular there, but outside Prince 2, both PMP and CAPM are globally recognized. It is global certification. So if you're someone who wants to really target getting a job or working on projects with UK companies or working in the UK, I would say Prince 2 certification is what you need. Prince 2 they stand for Project in Controlled Environment. So that's what that Prince stands for, Project in Controlled Environment. So that's what they call, that's their method for managing projects in the UK, specifically for the UK, not the entire Europe, just the UK, just those few 4 countries that makes up the United Kingdom. Okay, so those are some certifications you might consider. Probably when you go deeper, maybe if you're working in the tech industry and then you want to, after getting this, which is the general approach to project management, you want to go deeper into specific methodologies such as getting certified in Agile, getting certified in Scrum. That's when you can consider what we call the ACP, Agile Certified Practitioner, still offered by PMI. And then you can also consider PSM, Professional Scrum Master, that is offered by scrum.org. So that is if you are in the tech industry and you want to go deeper. But the beginning approach, the beginning point of your project management certification starts with the generic approach to managing projects. So your PMP certification will cover both waterfall and agile. That's one thing about PMP and the CAPM certification. It covers both waterfall and agile. So the training will cover waterfall approach to project management, agile approach to project management, and then they even go deeper into the agile by taking each different frameworks such as Scrum, Extreme Programming, Kanban. So when you want to go deeper to getting the certification and preparing for the certification, you are going to go deeper into the nitty-gritties of project management. If you're taking these two certifications, PMP and CAPM, or if you're targeting the UK, then I would say Prince 2 certification is what I will recommend that you go for. So, but this training was to set the foundation. So now you can understand the basics of project management, to understand the basics of balancing the constraints, to understand the concept of understanding the different knowledge areas, the 10 knowledge areas that makes up a project, which are basically like the 10 areas of you managing your project around. Okay, so we'll be able to set the foundation, which I believe will trigger us to maybe taking the next move to enrolling or taking a more deeper and more comprehensive project management training that could last up to 4 days, 5 days, 6 days, and then we go into the technicalities. It's what we call the 49 processes of project management. They will take these knowledge areas one after the other, and these processes one after the other introduce you to the nitty-gritties of Agile, go deeper, handle Scrum, and all that. But here we were to introduce you, and I want to believe that we have successfully had a good foundation, a good introduction to the fundamentals of project management, where we can easily, I believe that at this point, we can even manage some basic projects, identify the concept of, oh, okay, I think this kind of project we want to do, we need to use waterfall. And because we're using waterfall, we need to plan everything ahead of time before we start doing it, okay? And then this one, no, we cannot use waterfall here. We need to use Agile because we need to constantly communicate with customers and get their feedback. I want to believe we'll be able to gain that, then get well introduced project management. And for some who are already certified, this training is up to, it's like a 2 to 3 hours training. This training can also give you up to 2 PDUs. You can go to your certification dashboard if you are PMP or CAPM certified and self-report the PDU, and then you should get up to 2 to 3 PDUs within a couple of minutes. So there's nothing to lose. Even if you are already certified and experienced in project management, you can gain PDU from this, which you are going to use for your certification renewal. And then it also serves as a refresher, because sometimes as you go higher and higher, we tend to forget what we learned at the initial stage, the basics. All right, so that brings us to the end of my training. Okay, can I ask a question, please? Of course, yeah, we can ask questions. So please, if you ask a question, you can unmute yourself and ask. But before you unmute, please, I would appreciate if you can indicate so that I can call you, so we don't mix up everything. So just indicate so I can call you to go ahead and ask, or you can decide to type it using the.
Hello, Mr. Kemini.
Okay. Hello. Who's that? That's
Pius, yes.
Okay, Mr. Pius.
So I was just thinking maybe I quickly just run through the offers we have for them, so that if we have questions combined, we can just take it together. I don't know if that works.
All right, no problem. So maybe we could allow that. So while Mr. Pius will be giving us some offers, do well to type your question. There's no problem. So Onyinye, you can type your question, and then after Mr. Pius, I'll read them and provide answers. Or if you want to maybe ask using
no,
if
she wants to ask immediately, she can go on, so that after her, then I can come in.
Okay, Onyinye, please go ahead and ask your question, please.
Okay, all right. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
My question is, I don't even have any idea about this PMP. Like, I'm interested because of relocation, so that it will be easy for me to get a good job and all of that. But what you explained, you mentioned that the PMP itself, I have to have like 3 years experience before, getting certified. So what do you advise me? Do you advise I should go for the CAPM or I
Yeah,
should do the
if you
PMP
are,
training straight?
yeah, if you are, one thing about if you do the PMP training, it teaches you almost everything you need to know, and even beyond you need to know for your CAPM certification. Okay. But the advantage if you take the PMP training is that it will teach you a lot about project management beyond what CAPM training will do. Okay. So maybe after that, you can decide for the start, you can decide to go for the CAPM training. And after the next 2-3 years, you happen to work on projects, you now gain the experience to now, instead of renewing your CAPM training, you decide to take the PMP certification. You might not need any training at that time again, probably some mock exams and then some materials you can also read to prepare yourself. Okay. So there's nothing stopping you from going for the PMP
Okay,
training.
so
It's the same knowledge. But for the certification exams, since probably you don't have the experience to document, because in the exams application, you'll be expected to make documentations of the projects you've been
have
involved in.
experience.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And sometimes,
Mm.
sometimes we feel that we have not gotten the experience because we feel that the projects needed are always maybe big projects or the ones with your project managers. Okay. But that's not what PMI needs. They want to see your involvement in projects. So whether you were the project manager or you were only part of the project team, you can also still document it. It does not need to be a very big road construction project. It could still be you maybe leading a project that was
Okay.
aimed at upgrading computer systems in your office. That is a project. So even if there are 10 and they were three months projects, three months project times 10, that would be about 30 months. 30 months is it's more than 2 years, right? So if you can just I want to believe you've been involved in projects, so you can document them and then see how far it is, and then you can decide. But if you think you have not in any way been involved in projects before, it's just basically the
haven't.
training
I
and the
haven't.
knowledge, then I would say the CAPM is a good deal for you.
Okay, so the CAPM, if I want to now have the international exam, will I still have it under the CAPM or I'll have it under the PMP?
No, see, this one thing you need to understand. The CAPM is a certification, right? So at Dexnova, what Dexnova will offer is what we call the exams prep training. Because PMI, before you are eligible for the exams, you need to take what we call the preparatory training. It's one of the mandatory requirements. You need to be trained in project management. So Dexnova offers those training, and those trainings need to be taken with what we call registered education provider, and Dexnova is a registered education provider. Okay, so at the end of it, Dexnova prepares you and then give you a certificate of preparation or a certificate of training, not the certification. The certification is offered by PMI, which after that training now, you will have to go to PMI website and apply that you want to take this certification exam. You apply and then it is approved, you pay. You sit for the exams, and when you pass the exams, you are now CAPM certified or you are now PMP certified. Okay. The
Okay,
training
but with
that
the
Dexnova
CAPM,
offers okay.
oh,
Come again.
sorry to cut you. But with the CAPM,
No, go ahead.
Can I still be able to get a job, or would they say I'm an amateur in
Of
the
course.
PMP?
Of course, you still get a job. CAPM shows that you have been well trained in project management. Probably you might not have that much experience. Okay, you might have just 1 year experience in project management, but you are well trained and capable in managing projects.
Okay.
So it doesn't limit your capacity. What you need to go do is go into an interview there and then show yourself that you are able to manage projects, even when you are an entry-level person in project management. That's the most important thing. There is somebody that will come with PMP, and then after being interviewed alongside with you, you would perform better than the person. Sometimes, yeah. So it doesn't limit your chance. Okay. So
okay,
it
so
doesn't
then
mean that
after,
since
like, when I've gathered my experience and all of that, let's say
maybe
maybe
after
like
1-2
after 3
years.
years, or
You don't even need
2,
to
3
wait for
years?
3 years. 3 years,
I
you
can
can now
now.
apply for your PMP, because in
Okay.
the next 3 years your TAPM should expire. Then you have to renew. You don't need to take any other
Okay.
exams. But instead of
Okay.
doing things to renew, you're just applying for your PMP certification, and then already with
And I'll be
CAPM,
given.
yeah, with
Mm,
your CAPM certification already, you're eligible for the PMP
to
certification,
apply.
and then you just take the exam
Okay.
and then get switched to PMP certification. So the
Okay.
point is
All
that
right.
no matter what, you shouldn't be discouraged and then say, okay, no, let me stay back, make that moves, and then you never can know the opportunities that's going to come from that. And from this opportunity, you're not even ready for your CAPM in 1 2
Okay.
years
All
time.
right.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay,
Thank you
certification
very
from
much. Yeah.
Coursera, for example, is it that good enough to excel in project management? Secondly, why do we have little or no internship opportunities for those starting up in project management? Let me start from the second. They are. You just need to search for it. Utilize places like LinkedIn. I've seen a lot of people have gotten the opportunity through LinkedIn. Sometimes you just need to post about yourself, the fact that you have gained training that you are open to. Because a lot of sometimes employers are afraid of taking people who are not ready to maybe intern. You know, in Nigeria, we don't really have a lot of paid internship. So, but I can assure you that if you decide to just dedicate few months into working as an intern, probably you're not paid or you paid a little. I'm very sure you never can know where the opportunity will come from. My first job, I got it where I was volunteering. I was just there as a volunteer. After my BSc, after my project, I didn't want to be at home. So I started volunteering with an NGO. And after months, I think about after 6 months, volunteering for free, absolutely for free, I was asked, okay, we have an opening, we do want to work here. And that's how I got a job without having to apply. That's how I got a job and grew in the organization. So I can always say I'm a testimony of volunteering or even free internship. So opportunities are always there. So if you make use of LinkedIn, I can assure you that the opportunities are there. They are. Just that we live in a society where they are scarce. So you also need to expand your course too. Don't be limited to Nigeria. There are other even virtual internship. There are a lot of virtual internship there. So where you can work virtually as an intern in PM or other PM related roles. Okay, you talk about certification from Coursera. Certification from Coursera are basically not, I wouldn't say they are certifications. They are more of maybe certificates of training, certificate of course completion, okay? They're not, because those institutions are not for project management. PMI is the global most recognized institution. There are other institutions that certifies people in project management, but PMI is the most globally recognized. So if you complete a course on Coursera, a good one, so if you go there, I would encourage you, there's no problem. You're trying to learn and getting knowledge. No knowledge is a waste, it's a good one, but they are not certification per se, like being certified as a professional in a particular field. Okay, so it is a good place to start with. But I will always say after taking those courses, you can now go to register for a more deeper courses that would prepare you for even more recognized like PMP, CAPM, globally recognized certification. Okay, so if you're starting with a course on Coursera, there is no problem. Nemeka, it is very much welcome. Instead of just waiting, you can take advantage of that. Learn, you will have a good deal of knowledge from those courses. No problem about that. But they are not include certification. They are not institution that certifies you as a professional in this. Even if you search for PM, so just search project management certification on Google, you will see PMI as the first, even second, third, before you even start seeing others. Okay, so your course on Coursera, it's a welcome one. It gives you good knowledge, but you're not really certified per se. Okay, I want to believe that's been answered. All right, so before we take further questions, Mr. Pius, you're welcome. So
All right. like I always call Mr. Kemini, I refer to him as a professor, right? Yeah,
Well,
professor.
I don't have a PhD yet.
No. You are a professional
Not
professor.
come
If there is anything like that, okay. So always a delight to have you in class. You are passionate about the subject matter of project management and agile and related subject matters. It's always a delight to hear from you. And for every one of us, if you have learned, if you have enjoyed yourself in the class, please kindly use the emoji thumbs up, or you drop a chat. You drop a chat in the box just to show your appreciation to the facilitator and of course Dexnova Consulting. All right. Even though you didn't have any prior knowledge of project management, but this class, I'm sure the class was worth your time. Okay. So like I mentioned earlier, we are also, apart from capacity building, we also recruit. And each time we get briefs from our clients to hire for them, especially courses that are, that need professional requirement, and, what they always tell us, PMP certification is an added advantage, all right? Also certification is an added advantage. So what it means is that even if you even have the experience or you have the knowledge of project management, they want to show something that validates that knowledge. And the only way your knowledge can be validated is through a body who has been set up to give you that validation. And that is what PMI does, okay? So like the facilitator said, we run programs from time to time, probably on a monthly basis or every 2 months, project management related courses. For those of us who have been following us on social media, you may have been seeing maybe our programs, our adverts, and for how much they go for. But we have decided for this webinar or for this free training, for those who will be attending, apart from the fact that you are gaining knowledge from this, even though it's a foundational knowledge, we are also giving you the opportunity to be a part of those who attend our program that gives you that preparatory framework to write the exam. So all that you need, including the training, the materials, and even after the training, which is mostly virtual, you also have opportunity to our LMS, our learning management system, where you have access to additional resources in line with the project management body of knowledge that Mr. Kemini spoke about earlier. And also you will have access to practice questions, mock questions that will prepare you, will give you as much access that enables you, that prepares you until you pass, until you have scored the required score in the mock, that will give you the confidence to go into the exam and pass it at first sitting, all right? So we have a very juicy offer for you today. Mr. Kemini, please, you will permit me to take down your screen for a while so that I can share my screen so that they can as well see what the offer is at a glance, all right? Do I have your permission to do that?
Please go ahead, go ahead.
All right, thank you very much. All right, so I want to be sure that you can see my screen. All right, so you can see the offer at a glance, okay? For the project management professional, we have a class coming up on the 22nd of June, 23rd, 29th, and 30th. These are mostly weekend classes, okay? And you will see facilitators like Mr. Ekemini Jacobs himself, who will do justice to the exam prep training that will prepare you for the exam, all right? So ordinarily, we do that training for 100,000 for our virtual classes. But because you are here, because you attended this session, we are giving that same program to those who will be interested in that training for $58,500 and $50 equivalent for those who might be outside of the country. Okay? Then if you are doing the business analysis, of course, I'm also sure the facilitator give you the business analysis angle to project management. The business analyst and the project owner or project managers, they work hand in hand. So sometimes you might also, as a project manager, also require business analysis knowledge. So there are people who do project management and also want to do business analysis. So it's also going for the same discount. We have professional Scrum Masters that he spoke about earlier for also the same amount. Agile Certified Practitioner, the ACP, for the same amount. Then we also have Prince 2 that he spoke about, especially this project management methodology is usually adopted, is a project management in a controlled environment. So it's mostly used in the United Kingdom. For those of you who have plans to probably work in the UK, or maybe you are already working in an environment, in an organization that is that has its roots from the United Kingdom, you can also go with that. Then we also have the Primavera, is also a project management tool. Okay, so we are also giving that at a discount for $120,000 and $67 equivalent. For the Prince 2, the dollar equivalent is $150. So for Prince 2, you can also decide to take only the foundation or do only the practitioner if you have done the foundation before. We also have the fee there, all right? So this offer is I wouldn't say it's unfortunate that you are attending the class today. For those who have attended our training before now, they had the window to pay on or before 12 midnight today for this particular offer, all right? So if you want to take advantage of this offer, you can reach us. You can drop your details in the chat box. Just drop your email and phone number and we'll contact you to give you further information. Or you can call us on the details that will be, that is on the screen, okay? On the details that is on the screen. So this particular one was for CMROP. We also know that there are people who work in the project environment, but they are into maintenance and reliability. So this package is for our certified maintenance and reliability. We also have other certification programs that might be of interest to you. So if you want to take advantage of this offer, you can capture the information on the screen, our account details, GTB. We also have the dollar account, both Naira and dollar accounts. You can send the email to divine.christian@dexnova.com for a confirmation of your payment, or you can send a chat via WhatsApp to the number showing on your screen below, all right? So, or you can also reach out to me directly, pius.ivaroga@dexnovaconsulting.com, okay? So these are the offers we have for you this afternoon, and this offer is supposed to be elapsing midnight today, all right? But if you have a different arrangement, we can also give you an opportunity. Peradventure, you don't even have the payment in full today. You want to say, okay, I'm making commitment. I want to make a part payment, maybe 50% or thereabout. We're also giving you the opportunity to make that happen, all right? So that will be all concerning what we'll have for you. I'm sure in addition to the knowledge you have gained, this offer we are giving to you, you know, is more like a weekend gift that I would really be want you to take advantage of. All right. So this is where I will end my own, interventions and hand over back to Ekemini to round off.
Question, please. Question.
Okay, you have a question?
Yes, please. For the discount, I already paid and I was charged 59,500, and now you are saying it is 58.
Sorry, who is speaking? Who is speaking on here, right?
Yes, please. Yes.
Okay,
And now this webinar has made me to understand that I can't just go for the PMP direct when I don't even have any idea of what project management and all of that. And the training we are having for the 22nd of June is for the PMP, not the CAPM, right?
Yes.
Mm.
So like what Mr. Ekemini explained earlier, and I heard him, is you can actually, the PMP training encompasses the knowledge you need to take the CAPM exam and much more. Mr. Ekemini, am I right? Hello, Mr. Ekemini, can you hear me?
Yes, you're right. I think the only thing that will miss is I think recently business analysis have also been added to CAPM, but as per project management, the content of PMP will be far more advanced than that of CAPM. So if you are taking the PMP training, it gets you even far more ready for the CAPM training certification exams and more.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's
but
what
it means. It means that I'm not going to have the CAPM certificate. What I'm going to have is the PMP certificate before I take the exams. Is that it? If I'm correct.
Dexnova do not certify you. The exams, the training is to prepare you for the actual certification exam that is offered by PMP. So if after the training you are going for CAPM, there's no problem. You will give you the certificate of training. That in fact you don't even need the certificate of training, like the physical certificates, to be able to apply for the exams. So even if you write PMP, which if you want us to reference CAPM, they can also do that. So after the training, you can just let us know, and then we give you the certificate of completion that references CAPM. That you don't have any issue with that.
Okay, that is why I am here, so that you will guide me. So with the PMP, what do you think I should do? That's why I'm here. What do you think I should do? Take the PMP training and then
enroll for the training. Just enroll for the training, no problem.
He's done that already. She's done that already.
I've done that already. So you people will give me back 1,000 naira.
Okay,
the Pius will look into that.
Okay, thank you.
I'm quite sure you are. You know, one case isn't a big deal, right? So it's no problem. We'll work it out, okay?
Okay.
But one thing you must, one thing I'm happy about is that this afternoon's training has given you a direction. So it also makes our work easier during the training.
Yes.
It also makes our work easier. All right?
Yes.
Okay, somebody said, please, can you send the details and breakdown in a PDF format? Okay. So let me see if I can drop it here. But we are going to send a mail to you shortly as soon as we disembark from this class. All right. But let me try and see if it's something I can drop here quickly. All right. Okay. Any other question? Am I seeing any other question on the? Okay, there you have it. I've dropped it. It's loading. Okay, so I've dropped it. Is on the bus. Confirm you can see it. Okay. Someone is saying, please, can you forward the info to my email? Okay. Yes, I will forward the email to you right away. All right. Who else? Someone is saying, I already paid. That's Oyinye. Okay. The 1K extra is coming back again. All right. It's okay. All right. You can also follow us on our LinkedIn page. Okay, someone is saying, how much is the PMP certification exam? I already have PDUs with Mark Timothy Associate, but I plan to write the exam with your organization. Yeah, we'll be here. I just gave you the information, okay? So we can also help you facilitate the exam processing and all of that, okay? So please, Toby, you can drop our social media handle on the pages, on the chat box if you haven't done that, okay? All right, so any other question aside the ones that we already have in the box? Please confirm you can see the pricing package. Please confirm I dropped it, the PDF format. Confirm you can see it. Can you see it in the chat box? Am I still being heard? Hello, everyone. Can you still hear me?
Yes, Mr. Pius, we can hear you. But I think the document hasn't. Okay, yeah, the document is there.
Yeah. Okay.
But
so
if anyone cannot download it here, they will see it in their email alongside with the presentation slide and even the recording access.
Okay, so like I said, this offer ends midnight. This midnight. So please, you can take advantage of it. As soon as you make payment, you can quickly send your proof of payment via email to divine.christian@dexnovaconsulting.com, or you can send to me directly. I drop my email address in the chat box. Okay. On this note, I want to maybe give the mic to Ekemini for some parting thoughts before we call it a day.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Pius, and thank you to all the participants here. I believe you've gotten a good offer, and I will encourage us to take advantage of it, and I believe you will not regret deciding to gain advanced knowledge in project management. Okay, so as per the presentation slide, you will get that in your email after this training and alongside the recording of this. And I also dropped my LinkedIn profile, which I have done again, so you can do well to communicate with me or reach out to me. Let's connect on LinkedIn, and you can just reference this training, and then I will know that, okay, we met here. So no problem. I look forward to another of this session. Hopefully we are going to host another free session like this for Agile, specifically for Agile project management and Scrum. So hopefully next month. But that's where you should make sure you follow Dexnova on LinkedIn, Facebook, and other social media platforms for you to be in touch with the dates, because the date will be out soon. So that one will just be another training, but our focus will be on Agile and Scrum in particular. So if you are working in the technology industry, or you are anticipating getting a PM role in the tech industry, then I would say that that free session will also be for you. So we also introduce you to Agile and Scrum. So hopefully by next month, that should take place. So follow Dexnova on LinkedIn, Facebook, and other social media platforms, and keep your eye on the page, on the updates, so that you won't miss any of the dates for our free sessions. So we have more. Even after that, we will likely have another one on business analysis for people who wants to go into business analysis, because all these professions and skills align with each other. So even as a project manager, you need the knowledge of you need business analysis knowledge very much well. Okay, so even if you don't work in the tech industry, you also need Agile and Scrum very much well, because the concept, the ideology is spreading into almost every industry now, because we live in a world where things keep changing almost every day. So we need to change along with time, and that is you being Agile. thank you very much for being our guest. Thank you very much for attending. I look forward to connecting with you on LinkedIn, and then look forward to also having you launch into project management and grow in the industry. I look forward to amazing testimonies after this training on how you're able to make it into project management and have a great career in project management and other professions we will introduce you to. Thank you. And that's me saying bye-bye. Love you all.
All
Take
right.
care.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Kemini. Like Mr. Kemini just said, we keep giving back. So follow us on our social media handles. Like he said, we'll be watch those spaces. We'll be coming out with other programs that are specific, like what he just spoke about, Agile, Scrum, and even business analysis. Okay. So I want to appreciate each and every one of you for attending this program. And I want to believe that Mr. Kimini will be seeing some of you in the next class, okay, so that at least you can tap more into his wealth of experience and knowledge, all right? So on this note, I have seen some of you drop your email for the offer. You may also want to, you could private chat me your email address, your phone number for quicker responses and other information. Class, and also we'll be sending you the slides and any other information that you may find useful for you. All right. On this note, thank you very much. Do enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you. Bye. Bye, everyone.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you. Are you out? Someone raised his hand for question and within, is it Michael? You can still ask your question if you haven't left the call. I'm sorry about that. Okay, that is Michael. Hello, Michael. Are you still on the call? Okay, it's fine. He said he will contact me. Good afternoon. How are you doing? Yeah, is the same Michael I know for HSC, right? Wow. Wow, that's wonderful. Good to hear from you. Good to hear from you. Well done. Well done. So it was after you left the call that